Hi guys, Jay Smith here. Welcome to the AskGolfNut channel. Welcome to part 2. If you haven't already seen part 1 though, you can click up there. There's a little card, click on there for part 1. If you can't see it though, because you're watching on TV or something like that, if you pop on my channel listing, part 1 will be directly under this video. So you can have a look at that one if you want to look at the looks, feel and performance into a simulator. But part 2, let's have a look to see if there's a winner in overall performance, peak heights, descent angles, ball speeds, etc. And also, more importantly, forgiveness. When you whack it all over the face and you miss-hit it from time to time, which one will help you more than the other? Let's go have a look at how the two clubs got on the 923 tour against the ZX7. I've hit them enough now to show that there's a distinct difference in how both golf clubs perform. And so, spoiler alert, one golf club will work more for one type of golfer and one golf club will work more for another type of golfer, but we'll go into that. So let's go have a look at the averages first, and then we'll look at the raw performance and forgiveness difference as well, to see if there's a difference between just forgiveness side. But JPX923 door first. Ball speed 120.1 miles an hour, launching at 20.4 degrees, so decent numbers there. Spinning at 7,000. Again, that's a nice spin number. These are traditional lofted irons within reason, so the old adage of 1,000 RPM per is not too far off, but it's, yeah, doing really well. Peaking up at 38 yards in the air and descending at 50 degrees, carrying 168, which is a very, very healthy number. 91.2 miles an hour, club head speed, efficiency is 1.32, which is good. Attack angle 3.6 down, and club path and face to path is very 0-0. Loft is 29 degrees. Remember, 34 degree loft is static, but then it's more important how much loft you deliver than how much static loft the manufacturers put on. Everyone will deliver their own dynamic loft, and that's how you can only really compare to irons if you understand what loft you're delivering rather than just what's stamped on the spec sheet. But 1 mil heel, 1 mil low is the face impact on average, and I've got standard deviation on there for all to see. Srixon ZX7, ball speed 121.3, so 1.2 miles an hour faster, launching at 20.3, so we're only losing 0.1 of a degree in launch, even though there's a slight difference in the loft between these two. So I am really impressed with how the Srixon, not just the 7, the 5 and the 4, really launched the golf ball. They have got a very, very low center of gravity, which does allow the golf club to launch the golf ball quite well. It does have an impact in its spin though. You can see their total spins at 5.744 rather than 6.9, so we're looking at about 1,250 RPM less than the JPX923 Tour. So, but there is 2 degrees of loft static. We'll have a look at how much physical dynamic loft was delivered difference. But it's going 175 yards and 38 yards in the air and 49.1 degrees descent angle. So within reason, it's matching the JPX923 Tour for peak height and descent angle, but it's doing it 7 yards longer. If you go by the club speed though, 91.4 miles an hour rather than 91.2, so 0.2 of a mile an hour difference, that is it. And efficiency is at 1.33. Now it will be slightly more anyway because loft is at 27.4 rather than 29 degrees. So there's 1.6 degrees of loft delivered difference. There's 2 degrees static, but it's what you deliver that counts. Club path and face to path is very 0-0. And 0 mil toe, 3 mil low rather than 1 mil heel, 1 mil low. So 2 mil out and 3 mil out. And I've got standard deviation on there for all to see. So probably the best way to see the differences between these two is when you go to the ball compare and the club compare screen, and you can see they both peak height exactly the same, the blue and the yellow within reason both peak height exactly the same. The difference is that the spin rate on the ZX7 is distinctly lower, as in 1,250 RPM is distinctly lower. It's launching at the same rate, which is incredibly good, but it's spinning slightly lower. So you've got 7 yards difference, and really there's not that much in it when it comes to pure performance of ball speed, etc. There's not that much difference when it comes to springiness of the face. It's more so how one golf club imparts spin and launch on the golf ball as opposed to the other. And so with the JPX923, you've got the raw loft of the golf club imparting the launch angle, and because of such, then you've got a higher spin rate. With the ZX7, the center of gravity is lower. Now the ZX7 is bigger than the Tour, so the cavity at the back is bigger, so it can drag the center of gravity lower and further back. And so therefore you can see the difference. You can get a slightly 1.6 degrees lofted difference, but it's still launching exactly the same as the other one, but it's spinning slightly lower. Now, The only thing I would say on that one is the fact that if you're a hyper swing speed player, so you're faster than 91, 92 miles an hour like me, and you're upwards of mid 90s, if not high 90 mile an hour with the 7-iron, I would be wary over the 923 Tour because it might spin too much. Now you can go to a low spin golf ball, etc., and manage it most probably, but just be aware of it when it comes to the amount of spin that you're going to create. No difference to the ZX7. ZX7 is great, although I would be a bit concerned if you were going to go to a slower swing speed, because obviously as soon as you start dropping swing speed off, you drop speed related spin off. And if you were taking a couple of hundred or say even a couple of thousand RPM off the 923 Tour for a slow swing speed or slower swing speed player, it would go from 7 to 5, absolutely fine. If you do the same to the Srixon, you go from 5.7 to 3.7, well 3.7's not too far off what I use as a spin profile for my 3 wood. So you just have to bear in mind, and of course this is 7-iron, you go to a 6-iron, that's even be lower, it's not going to be long before you get into driver spin. So you just have to be wary of that. Let's go have a look at the forgiveness side to see if there's any differences in strike location forgiveness. I've tried to capture strikes as close as I possibly can do so we can marry like for like the difference between these two. So we'll go with the JPX923 Tour. Maxed out first, we get an understanding of baseline, how well it can go when you hit it right out the screws. 1 mil low, 2 mil hill, so very, very close to the middle. Face was maybe slightly overclosed and loft was slightly less, 28.6 degrees of loft, so 1.33. Now 1.33 I would say is definitely maxed out. It would probably hover around a good 1.32, a high 1.32, and then pop into a 1.33. efficiency for a right out the screws. If you go to the Srixon ZX7, we're looking at the same 1.33 again, 1 mil high, 0 mil toe, so within reason, exactly the same when it comes to strike, and there's 1.5 degrees of loft difference, very, very similar to what was delivered on average. And so you can see that there is a slight difference between them. Okay, clubhead speed on this one was just fractionally faster, 0.9 of a mile an hour, but you've got the difference between 169 and 177. 38 yards in the air, 50 degrees, 39 yards in the air, nearly 50 degrees. They are just doing really, really well. If you look at the spin numbers difference, there was 7,000 on the Tour, 5.8 on the Srixon. So it is a consistent difference between these two on how they spin the golf ball. Let's go to the heel strikes first and see how well they do. We've got a 13 mil heel here for the Tour, and club path and face to path are very 0-0, and it's 1.29. If you then go to a similar strike, we've got 12 mil heel, 3 mil low, so 15 mil gross rather than 13, so fractionally worse, I would say, than the Tour. The face is 1.2 open now rather than slightly closed, so we've got to be honest about how it works. And loft is 27.9 as opposed to 29.3, so then you, again, looking at being blatantly honest, with one hand giveth the other's taketh away, so it is a fairly neutral blend, but 1.30. So the Srixon is retaining more ball speed from a slightly worse strike. The face open and less loft, as the face closed and more loft would equal itself out. And so, yes, the Srixon is marginally more helpful than the Tour from heel strikes. If you go low on the face, we've got the Tour here, club path slightly from the inside, face slightly closed, little baby draw dynamics, but 11 millimeters low, 1 mil heel, so fairly low on the face. Its efficiency is 1.27 rather than 1.33 being its max, so we're losing about 0.06, but that's expected from that. But the interesting thing is you can see there that even though it's 11 mil on the face, launching at 19.5 degrees, so still launching very, very well, and spinning at 7,000, so it's still spinning very, very well. What we're seeing, the reduction in distance is more so just purely on the ball speed front. You're not going to get the same ball speed because there's no spring when you're hitting it that low on the face. If you go over to the ZX7, you've got one here, a 10 mil low, 0 mil toe, so within 2 millimeters of the Tour. Face is slightly from the inside, or path slightly from the inside, face slightly closed. Very similar to that of the Tour, and lofts at 29.6 against 30.5, so 0.9 degree loft difference. One's at 1.27 and the other one's at 1.3, so the Srixon ZX7 is doing very, very, very well out of a low strike. And why? It's because the centre of gravity is lower in the ZX7 than the JPX923 Tour, so when you hit it low on the face, you will get more efficiency from it because you're hitting more in line with the centre of gravity. That's not a good or a bad thing when it comes to the tour. It's just obviously these are quite big mishits out of the bottom of the golf club. 10 mil is quite a lot, and 11 mil from the tour is even more. But I would have to say, being honest, that you're going to gain a little bit more from the Srixon ZX7 if you're going to hit hyper low on the face. Let's just go toe now. There's a difference between the two. We've got the tour to start with. Efficiency is 1.31 and face is very zero to a path, which is quite zero as well. 2 mil low, 10 mil toe, so within reason, half an inch gross, and we are at 1.31. We've hardly lost a dicky bird. Basically nothing off of average, 0.01 from a half inch give or take off the toe. It's just good. If you go now to the ZX7, you've got 1.30. Now strike is 10 mil low, 3 mil high, so we are 1 mil worse than the tour, but it's only 1 millimetre, not a lot. But face is slightly open at 1.1. Loft is 28.7 rather than 29.7, so again, we're talking about the difference between 1 degree less loft but being open against the other ones where it's just fairly bland. So within reason, those two will cancel themselves out. But it's dropping to 1.30. You'd have to say that because of the V chassis on the JPX923 Tour, that it will be slightly more helpful off of toe strikes, like for like. Let's go ultimate toe, let's go massive toe, right? And we'll go tour first, 19 mil toe, 2 mil low. So very toey. Efficiency is 1.28. Remember, we're talking 1.32 is the average. So we're losing 0.04 from 21 millimeters away, gross. That is very good. Again, V chassis. When you're hitting an extreme toe, the tour will win. If you go to the same or very similar on the ZX7, you've got 17 mil toe, 0 mil high. So the difference between 17 and 21. The ZX7 was a better strike. You've got path of 0.6 with face to path 1.2 closed. So you've got a closing face, which is normally more efficient. And then you have the difference between 29.5 and 29.6 loft is exactly the same, but we have a closing face and a better strike on the ZX7. Efficiency is 1.28 against 1.28. But because of the fact that you're dealing with a better strike, because of the fact you're dealing with a more closed face, you can see the tour on average wins. Even though the tour is a smaller golf club, it is thinner top lines, thinner soles, slightly smaller blade lengths, it looks just slightly smaller. It's nowhere near as helpful when it looks at the cavity as the ZX7 is, and of course the ZX7's got a slightly bigger cavity because it's trying to lower the centre of gravity, of which it does very, very well. And that helps brilliantly with launch, but it does reduce spin. With the JPX923 Tour, you've got the V chassis there, so it is distinctly more helpful off the toe strikes. But again, the Srixon then overtakes on the heel and definitely low. So it all depends on where you strike them from to see if there's going to be a difference for you. On the forgiveness side of things, performance, again, I would just be aware of the different spin profiles between these two golf clubs and how they launch the golf ball. You know down the lens what kind of characteristics you want from a golf club, and if it's launch help that you need, then obviously the ZX7 will work better in that sense, but it will come at a slightly reduced spin profile. If you're a slow swing speed player, I would be conscious of the fact that the spin rates will drop over speed, and also as the clubs go from 7-iron, 6-iron, 5-iron, etc. So just keep an eye on that. And if you're a hyper swing speed player, like you're very fast, faster than me, 95, 96, up to 100 miles an hour with 7-iron, obviously I know there's not many of them, but there are, just be wary that the fact that the Tour with its higher spin profile can potentially just spin a little bit too high, and then you might get some ballooning flights. There's some options, going to a different golf ball which will lower the spin profile, etc., or changing your action slightly, which would then lower the spin profile. But again, just be wary of the two. So hope you liked the video. If you did, thumbs up. Go on YouTube, like so do I. Down there is a subscribe button. It's great for the channel if you could subscribe, so thank you. And next to that is a bell icon. That's a notification bell, and if you click that one, that will notify you next time I upload another video. So I hope you're well. We'll see you again soon.